Oh, hey, Nick.
Hey, Tyson. What's going on, man?
Oh, just doing a little bit of social distancing or whatever it's called tonight. So we're doing the show over Skype. How exciting!
Yeah.
We're doing our bit.
Yeah. Do you have any symptoms, Tyson?
No, I'm all
do
good,
you have
man.
a fever?
No, none of
Me
that.
too, dude.
I'm sitting pretty at the moment. So knock on wood.
Lovely.
Think.
Lovely.
Yeah, it's all working out okay.
Looking into the backlog of movies that are just going to push your way.
Look, I mean, it's all hideously terrible what's happening, but think of all the time we will have to watch movies, Nicholas.
Exactly.
So much time.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh my God.
Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 132 of Nick Tys and Videotape. We're very happy to have you here for our discussion tonight. Well, we thought actually, in case you were reading our social media, I should mention, if you did happen to read the episode notes from last week, we were going to do a different movie. And the movie we were going to do was 1995's Outbreak. Now, since we decided that, things have gotten decidedly more serious. And I felt weird about making gags about it in light of what's happening at the moment.
What's happening? Yep.
So we came to the decision that instead, for the next however long it's going to take, I think we're just going to stick to like the best movies that everybody loves.
Exactly.
There's
some entertaining stuff.
Full entertainment, so that we can really just bring a bit of joy in and hopefully help people kind of take their minds off things with movies that we all love together. So, Nick, the first one we decided we were going to talk about as part of our coronavirus specials
it's a movie that we've been wanting to rewatch again for a while.
Yeah, we actually have talked about this, haven't we? We were like, I could totally watch that.
Exactly. And is this the movie that we're going to talk about, Tyson, is Ridley Scott's Gladiator.
That's it.
From the year 2000.
And look, I'm assuming that nobody doesn't like this movie. Everyone loves this movie, right?
How could you not love this movie?
That's how I feel
are there
about
people
it.
that don't like it?
I don't know. I'd be very interested to hear that, to be honest. If anyone didn't like this movie, maybe why don't you write into our social media, perhaps, if you don't like this movie. Nick, why don't you tell them where they can do that if they wish?
Well, if you don't like that movie, but you do like what you hear on the Nick Tys podcast, by all means, like, subscribe, rate, review, all of those things on Apple Podcasts. If you don't like Gladiator, which is fine, you're entitled to your opinion.
Of course you are.
Because, Ridley Scott's a bit hit and miss. What was the last good thing he did? Anyway, we'll get back to that. Before I regress. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those things. We have a YouTube account. We have an email account, which is nickTysonVideotape@gmail.com. And also Tyson and myself are big fans of the Letterboxd app. So if you wish to follow us, Tys is at TYS_videotape and I am NIC_videotape. But Tys, what is the last good Ridley Scott film that was made?
Look,
come on, give it a crack.
I'm gonna say, and I think I'm going to be wrong, but I would say Black Hawk Down.
Wow, yeah, that was a while ago, yeah?
Yes, but if I have a little look now, I'll just see if I'm maybe proven wrong. But I don't think I like anything post Black Hawk Down.
Black Hawk Down. Yeah, Black Hawk Down was 2001. I would say maybe push. I didn't realise that it was him, but Matchstick Men is quite good.
Oh, no, I do like Matchstick Men. That's 2003-ish, I think, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah, 2003. And I didn't mind. It wasn't mind-blowing, such as Alien and Blade Runner, but I didn't mind The Martian.
Oh, yeah, sure. Fair enough.
I didn't mind The Martian. But it's not from a director that you would expect from the director who's, given us Alien, Blade Runner,
It's true.
God.
I will mention, I don't mind Kingdom of Heaven either, 2005.
Kingdom of Heaven?
But so that's, I would say from 2005, there's a pretty substantial, I don't like any of those movies.
Yeah, that's a while ago. My God.
That is a while ago.
That is a while ago.
But we'll get to that soon. Nicholas,
we will.
Now, usually we like to start the show by talking about some trailers, but what's happening at the moment has kind of pushed all the movies back.
That's it.
Everything,
Bond, everything's been pushed.
All of it's been pushed back, which also means that I think that they're kind of not really bothering with trailers at the time being, because I've had a look through and there's really nothing has released a trailer at all. So we thought we'd actually flip out the show format a little bit, and we'd start off with one of the segments that we end the show with, and that is Nick. What did you watch this week? Well, that was a shambles. Should we try that again?
That was terrible. Try that again. Ready?
Do you want to count me in?
1, 2, 3.
What did you watch this week?
That was terrible.
We're really good at this. Now, what is the problem? Can you not see my mouth moving? Is that what it is?
I can see you. What are you talking about? Okay, ready? You count it in.
Ready? And what did you watch?
You watch this week? What are you doing?
We have a delay. I think we have a delay, Nick. I think it's
okay. Yep. We're gonna leave all that in. And we're gonna just
absolutely.
The fucking segment.
Everyone knows the name of the segment. Nick, what did you watch this week, man?
Oh, Tys. I feel like I need to watch some other things. I've just been bonding the hell out of it, man. I watched Diamonds Are Forever, which is the last official Sean Connery Bond.
How was that?
Which is 1971. That was not... Look, it was not bad. It wasn't great. It wasn't like... Yeah, it wasn't great, but it was okay. I didn't realise... Going through this now, so I've done... Jesus, how many I've done? I've done 8 Bond movies.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So I'm in the thick of it. Now, I didn't realise how much... Which I can't wait now for the movie that I'm about to reference. How much Spectre is a thing. Spectre is basically Hydra for those playing the Marvel game.
Absolutely.
And how Blofeld, which is basically the arch enemy of Bond, which I didn't even know that was a thing. Like, I knew that was one of the villains and his, tics and how he works, and he's got the cat and, he has those... There's literally those chairs, like in Austin Powers, that fall back and they fall in the fire. I was like, that's... Oh, my God, that's hilarious. But, yeah, so there are things like that. I didn't realize that Blofeld was such a massive character. So this is, I believe, Diamonds Are Forever is the last Blofeld until a little bit later on. But yeah, Diamonds Are Forever was okay. It was more of a... it was all right. The other one that I watched, though, was Live and Let Die. So this is my first Roger Moore. And this is very different. This was a very different Bond. You can see how the company kind of went, okay, we want someone who isn't Sean Connery.
Yep.
And we want to change the whole thing. So it was the first time that it wasn't he ordered bourbon. It wasn't shaken, not stirred.
Oh.
Cigars, not exactly. Cigars, not cigarettes. And and there was just a lot of little changes that they did that changed it up. But the storyline of this one was a lot better because this was speaking of Alien, it was Yaphet Kyoto.
Oh,
was the bad guy
from Running Man.
Yeah, right. And it was so good because it was in New Orleans. It had a lot to do with like voodoo and all of that stuff. And my God, Jane Seymour, the Bond girls are just lovely. But my goodness,
Dr. Quinn,
Quinn, Medicine Woman. My goodness, there were moments in the movie where I was like, good Lord, Dr. Quinn, hello. What is going on here?
Okay, then. Well, so, Nick, have you felt the progression, like the development of the series? That's what I'm really interested in. How does it feel to watch it like one after the other? Does it still seem like it's going somewhere, or has it kind of reached peak Bond?
No, it hasn't reached peak Bond yet. It's so still
where does that happen
there.
Then?
I have no idea. GoldenEye?
No, surely not.
It was really
Timothy Dalton?
Maybe. They changed it up a bit with Roger Moore in Live and Let Die. So it was a lot of different things. They tried to shy away from gadgets. So I only had one. It had one in that because they didn't like that people were like, oh, I can't wait for the next gadget. They didn't like that for some reason. So I've done a lot of reading as well on Bond.
What's wrong with that?
I know, right? Well, that's what you go to Bond for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was getting there. You're getting more and more money as the movies go on as well. So the layers just get catastrophically massive to the point where I think it was Diamonds Are Forever. It was literally a hangar. It was an airplane hangar that they had, and all the henchmen were walking around busying themselves and not doing fuck all. And it was so gold.
Step up from that one room in Dr. No where it's just his living room, right? Basically.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's plodding along. I'm loving every minute of it.
So what's next then, Nick?
what's next in the list?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Man with the golden arm? No.
No, I think
gun.
it is Man with Golden Gun. Golden Arm.
That's a Hitchcock movie or something, isn't it? Man with the golden arm? I got that confused.
You got that confused. Yeah, Man with a Golden Gun, 1974. See, I haven't even hit the 80s yet, so it's very, and you can tell it's very much.
Roger Moore's still like actually a guy that could run around, as opposed to when he hits the 80s and he's like an actual geriatric trying to be Bond.
Yeah.
They didn't really think that through when they cast him, I think. If they were we're going to make these movies for 10 years with this guy, and he's already 50-something.
Well, a lot of people turned it down. They didn't. They wanted a lot of American actors, and a lot of American actors turned it down because they're like, no, it should be an English actor.
Bond can't be
play
American.
Which I know.
What a terrible idea.
But yeah, it was quite good. The other thing that keeps popping up, which is so funny, is the fact that Felix Leiter is like a constant character throughout. He in all 8 movies, he's in all of them, and he's a different actor every time.
I love it.
It's so bizarre because midway through the movie, he'll just go, "Hello, Felix, how are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, Felix, oh sure."
Who's playing him in these new ones? It's what's his name?
I forget his name.
From
he was good. I remember Casino Royale, man.
But he's popped up in a few of them as well, hasn't he?
Jeffrey Wright. Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright, that's right.
He's constantly in Daniel Craig's ones. He's Felix Leiter throughout. But I didn't know Felix Leiter was a constant character.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
He's like, I'm the CIA operative. Like in the Bonds that I'm watching, there's always a moment where he helps him out. He's like, no, I need Felix to help out. Felix is going to do this, and we count on Felix. And I'm like, okay, sure, cool. Yeah. But yeah, man, I'm 8 Bonds in, and the Man with the Golden Gun.
16 to go or something?
I can't. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Something like that. Very good.
Like that. 18 to go.
18. See, it feels like you've made a good start, but then you see that number and you're like, oh, God.
No way, man. I can't wait. I'm waiting for... Well, the one that I'm waiting for, because I was waiting for George Lazenby, and my God, he was just a piece of cardboard. He really was. But the one that I'm looking forward to is Never Say Never Again, which is the unofficial Bond. They got Connery back for one more.
Of course.
Paid him like just buckets and truckloads of money, and he came back. That was 1983, and the director Tyson is Ivan Kershner.
No way.
Yeah, so Ivan Kershner came back, and it's
Empire Strikes Back himself.
Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, exactly. The script is basically just the same as Thunderball. Like it's a remake of Thunderball. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
All right, nice. Looking forward to it, man. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it.
Yeah. So what did you watch this week, Tynes?
Let me have a little squiz. I watched a couple of things. We'll talk briefly about... I watched Skyscraper, the Rock's version of Die Hard.
And?
Which, I don't know, I thought it maybe was a little bit better than what the reviews had been saying about it.
Because they panned it pretty bad,
look, it's not great, but... I think some of the things it tried were really interesting. I think visually it's a lot better than it's getting credit for. The CGI is actually relatively strong. There's only a few scenes. There's a sequence towards the end where there's a lot of these like mirrored displays and so it ends up having like a Hall of Mirrors effect. Which is not fantastic. But the building itself is actually, I think, pretty impressive and well designed. The Rock is great. And there are some legitimate, like if you are in any way afraid of heights, you will really eat this movie up. It like the tension that comes from some of the stuff that he's doing while he's floating above the 300 stories high. It's very effective, I thought. So. Right. While the villains are completely forgettable, there's nothing original about it. I just found it relatively passable enjoyment. You know what I mean? And I was like, this kind of got shat on, and that's a bit unfair. So I didn't mind that.
Die Hard with a disability.
Exactly, and it's
for the win.
Yeah, and they don't really.
Did they lean on it too much? Not pardon the pun.
No pardoning that pun. That pun stays. Look, They draw attention to it, but it actually has a pretty fun sequence, a few pretty fun sequences because of it. He has a full brawl with the dude with his leg off. where he's hopping about.
Damn, he has no leg. I thought it was just a brace.
No, it's a prosthetic leg.
It's a full prosthetic leg.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So, and that was kind of fun. And there's some bits where he's hanging upside down and the leg is about to come off, and he's got to grab and that's pretty fun.
Cool.
Look, I don't know. Maybe I'm out of my mind, but I didn't have the worst time with it.
All right.
What else I want to talk about? I'll talk about Dragged Across Concrete, which is the new movie from S. Craig Zala. That's how you say his name.
Mm-hmm.
Let me have a look.
I haven't heard of this movie.
Haven't you?
I saw that pop up on your thing. I haven't heard of this movie.
This is... Well, let me double check his name. Yeah, S. Craig Zala. So he's the guy that directed Bone Tomahawk and Brawl in Cell Block 99. So this is...
Yeah.
And I enjoy both of them immensely. I really do. This is probably his most ambitious film. It's long. There's heaps going on. It's like a crime epic in the way that, like, you know, something like Heat or The Departed is. I liked it a lot, and I just don't think it's as sharp as his first two films. And there's a sense of real kind of like B-movie kind of madness about his first two movies as well. Like, you could imagine they're real midnight movies, like that this is missing. This is a very serious film, I feel like, even though there are moments where there's just bonkers violence and real brutality in it. It just doesn't have the sense of looseness that the other two had. That I actually really... I'm contradicting myself, because the other two were tighter narratively, but had this sense of kind of momentum and fun to them that, like, this one just doesn't quite have. But having said that, it's still really worth watching. Mel Gibson is the lead in it, and say what you like about Mel Gibson, he's in the right role. He's pretty fantastic, and
he's got chops, man. I don't mind him.
Yeah, and he is
screen,
incredible in this. I really, really.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Did you ever watch that movie Bloodfather?
No.
So that's Mel Gibson.
It
was a Mel Gibson one, yeah, where he was like avenging the death of his daughter or something, I think, or someone had kidnapped his daughter, something like that. Anyway, he was real, like, gritty, like, real rough around the edges, brutal kind of guy, and he does it really well. Like, he's really good at that. In this, he plays like a hardened detective that gets him and his partner, played by Vince Vaughn, suspended for brutality, right? For police brutality. They use a bit too much force in an arrest, and there's a guy that films it on an iPhone, and so they get suspended for 6 weeks without pay. Anyway, so while he's doing that, he comes up with a plan, because they have to afford to pay their rent. He decides he's going to get a lead on a local drug dealer and basically just steal the drug money, him and Vince Vaughn.
Sure.
And that leads them on they basically end up way over their heads, or, well, they're not really way over their heads, but it becomes a much bigger operation than they initially planned, involving lots of other people, and shit gets real.
Damn.
Yeah, and so it's definitely worth watching. There's a lot of great stuff in it. He's a really, really exciting filmmaker. I love the way he makes movies. He's very patient. He allows scenes to breathe, maybe a little bit too much in this one, because it's a good 2.5 hours.
Wow, all right.
Yeah, not that his other movies are short, but this one just this is long, and it feels it.
Right.
But then again, I don't want him to stop doing what he does. I like that he just lets the camera just sit there, and he lets the actors just kind of feel their momentum, feel their moments, and it's really quite interesting to watch. So I definitely recommend it. If you liked the other two, you'll like this one. Have you seen any of the other two?
Man. Well, I haven't seen Cell Block, but I've seen Bone Tomahawk, and that was just mint. I really liked it. It just took a turn, like, at one point, because it made you sit. You thought it was just a Western, and that was like, okay, this is going to take a while, which is fine. And then it literally took a sharp turn and became probably one of the most violent fucking movies I've ever seen. And I was like,
yes,
okay, locked in. Let's do this. Yeah, and it was great.
I think that's still my favourite of his.
Of his? Yeah. That's because you're a Western man, my friend.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I do love my Westerns. And the last thing sorry, you go.
Cell Block. No, I'm interested in Cell Block, though.
Watch Cell Block. Oh, man, it's bonkers.
Yeah.
Vince Vaughn, straight up breaks people's heads in that. It's wild. The last one I'll talk about is we watched Malice. The
Malice.
1993 thriller with Alec Baldwin and Nicole Kidman.
I know that cover. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course, with the two heads, two faces.
Yeah.
Now, this has always been on my radar because it's written by Aaron Sorkin, and it was one of his first screenplays, and so I was always kind of like, yeah, I'm interested in this.
Damn.
And now,
yes.
Look, it's... You can see that he wrote it, but you can also see that maybe somebody came in and made some edits and stuff like that. Also, in the hands of the wrong director, his dialogue does not always work. Howard Becker directs this, who directed like Sea of Love. So he was a pretty he was your go-to guy for an adult thriller in the 90s and 80s. And look, it's good. It's a very strange movie. It kind of goes off the rails. There's a lot going on. Bill Pullman is the lead, which is not he's not on the cover at all. Yeah, but he's technically the lead, and he plays a professor who is married to Nicole Kidman, and he runs into a guy he used to go to high school with, who's like this hotshot surgeon, played by Alec Baldwin. Yeah, and they kind of build this friendship. And then over the course of a pretty quick turn of events, he ends up having to operate on Nicole Kidman because she's been suffering all these pains. And in the course of doing that, he has to remove her ovaries. But it's without kind of it's quick fire. He goes to him and says, "Look, if I don't do this now, there's a chance she'll die. She might not die. I might leave. If I leave him in there, it might be fine. But there is a possibility. So I'm just letting you know your options." And Bill Pullman says, "All right, well, let's take him out." Turns out he didn't need to take them out.
Oh shit!
And thus the movie continues from there.
Okay.
And it goes in directions that you would just have no idea. Yes. And meanwhile, side plot: there is a rapist on the school campus. And
what kind of fucking side plot is that? Okay, sure.
You think this is all of a sudden? I was watching it, going, "Why is this a side plot?" But there's a guy raping and murdering people on the school grounds, where Bill Pullman works. But it all comes together in the end. And to be quite honest, it actually caught me off guard. The end result of how it all came down. I had an inkling, but when you kind of figure it out maybe 2 minutes before the lead does, and you're like,
"Oh, sure.
Did I figure that out because I'm smart, or did I figure it out just because the movie told me that's when I was meant to figure it out?"
Fair enough.
So it's full of twists and turns and lots of little Sorkinisms.
Did Bill Pullman save the day?
I mean, I don't want to spoil it.
No one's watching Malice from 1996.
Hey man, coronavirus. People are watching anything.
Good point.
Got a whole catalogue of Stan to get through.
Everyone is watching. What is it? Fucking Contagion, man.
No, I'm
Contagion.
not. I've gone off that. I'm not going to watch any of those movies. I don't want to do it.
Everyone is blasting that for some reason. Don't watch it. Watch fucking Lord of the Rings, you idiot.
Yeah, watch fun movies that take up a lot of time. That's what you do. You watch those extended versions.
Exactly. Now's the chance.
That's it.
Tune in next week when we do fucking Waterworld for the extended version.
Good times. But yeah, that's all I'll say about that. It's worth it. It's just on Stan. If you got a spare, hour and 45, you could do much worse.
Yeah.
And
I like it.
It's Alec Baldwin. Who doesn't love Alec Baldwin?
Can't go wrong with Sorkin either, even if it is early Sorkin. There'll be some of him in there.
Yeah, and look, there really is. There's one really great scene where Alec Baldwin goes on a rant about how good a surgeon he is, and it's pretty great. Yeah, but I just want to read out the names of the people that are in this movie and tell me, do we ever get casts like this? This is just a randomly okay thriller from 1993, and listen to this cast. You got Alec Baldwin, Nicole Kidman, Bill Pullman, Bebe Neuwirth, George C. Scott, Anne Bancroft, Peter Gallagher, Tobin Bell, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Tobin Bell? What a fucking stellar cast.
You just turn on this random movie from 93, and every small role, you're like, oh, that guy. Oh, I love her.
Wow.
She's awesome. He's great. And they just turn up, and you just, this doesn't happen anymore.
They do a scene, get out, yeah. That's so true. Well, it does happen. It's just you hear about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, they'll be in the trailer, they're like,
it's a good point.
And Tobin Bell fucking saw. And you're like, man, imagine him rocking up just randomly and not knowing. That'd be way better.
True. I wonder if Tobin Bell was ever a big deal before Saw. Maybe no one gave two shits about Tobin Bell in 1993.
Maybe. Yeah. What was he in before? Because he was in something before Saw, and I swear to God, I saw him in something.
Oh, he pops up all the time. He plays a lot of heavies. He was a heavy in The Firm as well. He was one of like the, one of the kind of the hitmen. He's in The Verdict.
Do you remember him from Quick and the Dead? I don't remember him.
He's one of the, he's the guy. He's the real ugly guy that that has a beef with Russell Crowe's character, and he wants to be the first shootout with him, I think. He's in Boiling Point. Do you know I used to have a poster for Boiling Point on my wall? This is the movie from 1993 starring Wesley Snipes. It was just, for some reason, we just had that poster. I think what happened was, and I might be making this up, but I'm fairly certain the video store around the corner from us, the Eltham Video. I'm giving away a little bit of my secrets here.
You are.
I think they did like a big, hey, we're getting rid of a whole bunch of posters thing, and it was just like, come and grab whatever. And I think me and my brother just went, yes, and grabbed a whole shit ton of stuff. But because I remember that poster so well, because without looking at it, I can tell you right now, the tagline is, he's a cop who's reached the ... boiling point.
Boiling point. That is mint tagline.
Like you would. Yeah, isn't it just? Love
that is mint tagline.
Good. How good is Letterboxd, by the way? I can just scroll through Tobin Bell's movie posters and just see them all.
I know. How
it's
good is it?
Best. Hey, Nick.
So good. Tys.
Should we move on to our feature prez?
Let's talk about some Gladiator, man.
Let's do it.
And now for our feature presentation.
Will you remove your helmet and tell me your name?
My name is Gladiator. Father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance.
Today I saw a slave become more powerful than the Emperor of Rome.
They said you were a giant. I shall cheer for you.
At my signal, unleash hell.
Am I not merciful?
What we do in life echoes in eternity.
I'm just getting up the page of Gladiator on Letterboxd so I can have a little squiz as we're doing this.
Oh,
now,
there
Nick,
you go. Tyson.
Gladiator, year 2000. Did you see this at a cinema?
I don't think so, but 2000 was a little bit of a blur. Yeah.
It's doing smoking a lot of weed.
It was first year uni, so it was back-to-back weekends of just coming out a blur. I remember not seeing a lot of films in 2000 at the cinema because I just didn't have the money.
No, fair call.
Yeah. I don't think that I did. Did you see it at cinema, Tyson?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Yeah, I have very, very, very clear memories of seeing this in a cinema. I loved this movie. From the first time I saw it, I was all about this movie.
Oh, I remember it. It was very, very popular. I remember that. Like everyone, well, obviously it did. It won all the awards at the Oscars and things like that.
Well, it won 5, and I actually had a look through today because I was kind of like, which ones did it win? Because this is. Like I like my Oscars trivia, you know this.
Yeah.
But I was trying to pick which ones it won, and you know what? It didn't win many good ones at all.
Really?
Yeah, it won picture, which obviously pretty great.
Yeah, which is the biggest.
Russell Crowe won for actor, visual effects, costume, and one of the sound awards.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
No, it's not terrible at all. But when you think of this movie, you think it was like you think of it as like this juggernaut of at the Oscars, and it would have been like cinematography, editing, score, but it wasn't that at all. It was actually a really interesting year. Looking back at the year 2000 of Oscar movies is actually a lot of fun. I did that today.
Yeah, and
it was a real even split. There was Traffic, Crouching Tiger, and Gladiator all kind of.
Was that the year of? Oh no, I'm thinking of no. What am I thinking of?
I don't know what
What's the random one that no one thought that was going to win that did win? What year was that? With the racism movie.
Crash. No, that was the Brokeback Mountain year. Yeah. No, it was So it was. If you watch the way the awards went on that night, it almost looked like either any one of those three was going to win at the end. It was probably the most up in the air before announcing a winner that it's been for eons. Yeah, because they all won a few little things here and there.
Who won Best Director?
Soderbergh for Traffic.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I don't mind Traffic. I like Traffic.
I have seen Traffic once.
Yep.
I have no need to see it again. I mean, what are you going to do with that movie a second time, really? Like,
I don't know. Have a bit of fun with it? No?
Really? Because there's so much fun to be had with bloody Michael Douglas and his druggy daughter and...
Yeah, that was funny.
Benicio.
I think I can pinpoint... Benicio he was a crooked cop.
That's right.
Yeah, crooked cop. Oh no, he wasn't the crooked cop. He was the good one. It's his partner that was crooked. Can't remember that. I own this film, right? But
Traffic.
I remember Gladiator.
Okay, Gladiator. Yep.
I own them both actually. But I remember it. I remember liking it a lot more. In this watch, for some reason, I was like, yeah, that was good, and I give it its dues. Like, Ridley, this is the last of Ridley Scott. Like, this was a great film to look at. The storyline was very Shakespearean, and the action sequences or the battles, in the round were intense. But at the end, I was at the end of this. I was like, oh yeah. I think my watches of Gladiator have kind of, I don't know, maybe come to an end. I was like, yeah, I know how it ends, right. And I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of done here.
That's that's interesting.
Really? I don't know, because I didn't think that. I was waiting. I wanted the emotions, the running the hand through the corn like everyone watches, or the wheat that everyone loves. I love that fucking scene. But yeah, I just nothing grabbed me. It wasn't a...
Is it because every kind of action adventure sword and sandal movie post Gladiator stole from Gladiator?
Probably.
And so we've seen Gladiator since 2000 probably another 30 or 40 times because everything pinched from it. I see what you're saying.
It was just strange for me. Like, especially going on this, like, I'm watching it going, well, I remember something else doing it a lot better than what I just saw.
Oh, interesting.
But there were moments in this, like, it could have been slightly shorter for me. There were scenes that breathed a little too much.
Okay.
But yeah, man, the performances in this, like, stellar. As if we didn't know that Joaquin Phoenix was just going to blow everyone away eventually.
Oh, that's interesting.
Oh, no, you didn't like that?
He's my weak link a little bit.
Oh, are you kidding me?
No, I don't like him very much in this.
Oh, he is poison from the first shot of celluloid in this fucking movie.
No, he does that very well. I will definitely agree with you there. He is the most punchable villain of a very long time. But there's something about the way he's a contemporary actor.
Okay.
And Russell Crowe to an extent, but I think he covers it a bit better. But when the thing that I really like about this movie, and it's stuff when like it's getting to sit down and watch like 80-year-old Richard Harris just have his way with this dialogue. Like he's just it's so rich and classical, and he's like he's selling it to the back seats in the middle, like he's on a stage.
Yeah.
And then you get guys like Derek Jacobi, who's a legit old school Shakespearean guy. Even like a lot of the supporting roles, there's like the eyebrows guy and
eyebrows guy,
like Oliver Reed, for instance, as well. I feel like those guys are in this movie and understand this movie. I feel like Joaquin is in a slightly different movie.
Oh, really?
I think he's playing it a bit flatter, and so I get what you're saying. He's totally gross and really, really punchable and just evil and bitter and all that stuff. But I miss what some of those other guys are bringing to the movie whenever he's on screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
he is a different flavor. Like he has to do a different thing, otherwise it kind of doesn't sit. And I am a big fan of this movie. Is kind of level. It is as much Joaquin's as it is Russell's kind of thing. Like they do go toe to toe in their scenes.
Sure.
Like, you know what I mean? So I understand, like, because you are getting a lot of Joaquin in this movie. Like, you know, every second scene is his. So yeah, I would understand it. But
I may be being a bit harsh when I say he's the weak link for me. He's just
No.
It's not quite.
Oh, please. Yeah, but it's a weak link of a film that's amazing.
I think there's a lot of extremely cool, like really, whether or not you like this form of acting or not, but there's a very deliberate old school acting choices being made, and it's really fun to watch. But yeah, and so when he's out and he's doing this kind of a bit more of this contemporary thing, this kind of insular thing a little bit, and I don't know if it gels as well with everything else, you know.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But
you can tell that all the actors, even Connie Nielsen, you can tell that they've had stage time. They've done plays. And
well, yeah, I mean,
they kind of bring that to these roles. Like,
yeah,
you kind of need it.
I wouldn't be surprised if they had, because there's a real like, I think if you put this movie in 50 years, if you put this movie next to Ben-Hur and the Ten Commandments, people wouldn't be able to distinguish the eras as well, because it feels very much like it was made in the 50s or 60s. Aside from a few acting choices, I think. And, of course, the ridiculous CGI
shots.
Yeah. Which, man, some of them are not holding up too well.
Yeah, it was a little too clean, wasn't it? Like that one shot where it goes up like that with the birds coming across.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's a little too clean. You guys haven't dirtied it up at the top. It just looks too pristine.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, no.
We were so impressed back in 2000 by this.
Oh, man. Oh, and so we should be, man. That was intense. Like,
you're
that
right.
was
And we can forget it's 20 years ago. But
exactly.
Yeah, every now and then there were some scenes where you're watching just like, oh, dear, that is not holding up any well.
But still, it was so
you know
good.
what gives it away, though? It's the terrible things that, like, at the time, make you think, oh, that's a really nice detail, I'm glad they put it in. But now you kind of go, you probably should have just left it out. It's stuff like the waving flags that look totally like cartoons, because they're not moving. They're not moving like actual flags would move ever.
No, yeah.
In 2000, we'd be really excited because it's kind of like it's look at the detail of this. But now it's kind
of even got the flags on the top.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like, well, you can't do that anymore, guys. Like, because maybe you should have just left it off, because you can't do it right.
Yeah, exactly. So true.
Yeah. Speaking of, I just want to go back to Richard Harris, because he is the best.
He is really good, isn't he? And might I just add, he's my preferred Dumbledore. I know not a lot of people agree. He was much better. I believe he got the character.
Okay.
Anyway, not talking about it. Richard Harris, amazing. My favourite moments of Richard Harris in this movie is when all hell is breaking loose. He literally says that line, unleash hell. And he is just... He has the camera on him. He knows what to do, and it's a man at the end of his tether. He's like, "Yep, I've done everything now.
Yeah,
I can now just do whatever." And you get maybe, I think there's 4 shots all up where it pans back to him.
Yes,
and he's still there.
I was thinking about those shots. I was kind of, do you reckon they just filmed them in order? And Ridley was just like, "Okay, Richard, now it's mid-battle and things are looking good, and go." Now, Richard,
and go.
It's the end of the battle and you've won. Okay, go.
He doesn't move.
No, because he doesn't move.
Change. Like he doesn't change. It's so good though. So good.
No, he's the best. His scenes when he's just talking to Russell Crowe and then having the conversation with Joaquin before he, spoilers, gets suffocated. He's so good. I absolutely loved watching him. He just everything, even the most like awkward lines that you think would be really uncomfortable to say out loud, he just makes them easy.
Very vulnerable too.
Yeah,
plays it to the bone, like very vulnerable. He knew what he was going to do, and he knew that it was going to be hard. And like in saying that to Maximus, that you can't. I'd love for you to go home, but I need you to take over.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just all going to go to shit. What I've done, Yeah.
And they really play with the ideas of like who is the like the differences in leadership, like the way they show what was his name? Marcus Aurelius.
Marcus Aurelius.
Yeah. so the way they show his response to Russell Crowe, to Maximus wanting to go home, is one of real like sadness and remorse, and saying, "Look, I'm only asking this of you because I feel like you're because of that answer, because you want to go home so desperately, and you will never be, you will never be infected by power. That's why you need to stay." Whereas, is it Commodus?
Commodus, yeah.
Commodus' response is basically like, "Don't get too comfy, man.
Yeah,
I'll
exactly.
call you back." And it's such a great example of the difference in leadership style.
Yeah, and the fact that Commodus is gagging for the role, he knows that he's got it. It's going to be, he's the heir to the throne, basically.
Yeah,
and he doesn't get it. Like, it's such a smack in the face.
Yeah.
And
well, it's funny because it seems like it's more of a smack because he kind of, you can see that he's frustrated, but when he first finds out, his response is, "Which is the wiser old man that will be taking my place?" Like, so he's pissed, but he thinks, well, there's somebody that's been around longer who maybe they get it first.
Yeah,
it's not until he finds out it's Maximus that he gets real shitty.
Yeah, because he knows, like, even from the battlefield at the start, when he asks his dad to take his arm so he can lead him off the battlefield, and his dad knows that he hasn't touched battle ever and doesn't understand and knows that he's there. So he's you can tell that they've had a past where Marcus has preferred the company of Maximus over his son.
Oh, yeah,
so
100%.
That's just going to and to give him the throne, it's just going to tipple him over to do what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, performance stuff aside, the character of Commodus is written so well because every single line that he has, you're just like, "Oh, you are a little turd, aren't you?"
Yeah.
His little, he runs on. He's like, "Did I miss it? Did I miss the battle?
Did I miss the battle?" I'm like, "Oh, you're a fucking tit."
Of course you missed it. That was very well planned, you piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. But not as if, And I was watching the start with Sam, and when he's doing his training with his top off and the sword, Sam was like, "Oh yeah, give him his due. It's impressive." I was like, "Yeah, it's impressive for a man that's choreographed for people to fucking fight him. Like, he's practicing. It's not a.
Yeah. Well, you can see it in the background. They're stepping it through slowly so that he can go,
Exactly.
"Oh yeah, okay, now let's go.
I know where to go, and now I'll look really impressive." I'm like, "Dude, piss off!" Like, yeah.
For sure. Well, we're dancing around it, but what do we think of Russell Crowe in this?
He comes and goes for me. Shit, sorry. He comes and goes
similar.
Yeah, there are moments that he nails it. He nails it so well. But there are other moments where not only does he just take a back seat, he lets his accent slip, and you hear the Australian accent. I was like, dude.
Yeah.
What was that?
Well, I don't think to be honest, I don't think they cared too much. I think they were trying to, because if you think there's the guy, what's his name? Tommy Sheeran or Tommy. He's got a real Irish name. What's his name?
Oh, you're talking about Chibs. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about the
Tommy
guy
Flanagan.
Tommy Flanagan, yeah.
Is that him with all the scars on his face?
Yeah. He's from, I know him
Braveheart and all kinds of
Sons
stuff.
of Anarchy.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
He's basically in any medieval, any kind of medieval movie where you need someone whose face looks a bit busted up. But I think they just let him talk with his Irish or Scottish accent because...
Yeah, they did, yeah. But the fact that they call Maximus the Spaniard, like they've tanned him up a bit, they've dyed his hair, he's obviously some slight whitewashing going on. And
what's the deal with that? I thought it was because of the tattoo.
Oh, really? No, I thought it was. Oh, I don't know because I don't know geographically. I don't know where they are. I know that they're in Rome, but where is Maximus from? Do you know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Yeah, right. So
because
maybe
they wouldn't be speaking English. That's for damn sure.
No, for sure. Interesting. And his wife is presented as someone of Spanish descent. I never really put that together. I always just assumed that
it was a tat.
Or that, maybe it had some relevance. Maybe they assumed that he was because he doesn't talk, and so they were kind of like, because maybe he
must be a foreigner,
or maybe they decide to settle in Spain. And and so they found him in Spain, and so they just called him the Spaniard. But I don't know if he was actually meant to be Spanish, though.
Yeah, I found it quite weird as well that he comes to exhaustion, buries his family, and then someone just kidnaps him. He's still on his land. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not as if he's in the street or in a town, in a bar somewhere, kind of comatose over grief.
Yeah.
You know, he's on his property, and he gets stolen from his property and put into slavery.
But is it no longer his property, though? Because it's all, like, burnt and trashed, and so it's now just kind of like...
possibly.
Once they... Yeah. That scene, I actually thought there was some funny stuff in that scene, because he knows that they're going to kill her and his son. And look, I know, you probably need to let the horses rest, but he stops and builds a camp and makes, and I'm like, dude, you got somewhere to be.
This shit.
You got to be somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's the reason why, like, Sam went, why does he take 2 horses? I was like, while one dies,
one's
you jump on the other one. One is going to die.
That's what I always thought. He's pushing that first one so hard that it's like no stopping at all. Yeah, I think that scene actually plays with like time conventions pretty well, because it makes us believe that he's actually got a shot at getting there in time, when in reality I reckon it happens like days before.
Oh, you reckon?
Yeah. So I reckon I think it's playing with us. I think it's making us think that he's going to get there in time, but he never had a chance. It was
Yeah. Especially because the house that was on fire, or that his land that is on fire, is just like smoldering, smoking now. Yeah.
So I think that was a trick from Ridley Scott to try and get our hopes up, because it's fair brutal, and it catches us for a movie when we sit down and we're like, oh yeah, it's a gladiator epic, whoa. But it gets really dark really quickly. Like,
yeah, it does.
Like the violence in that opening battle is intense, and people getting their heads cut off and all kinds of shit. And it's not holding back on the blood. And then we get this basically all he does for just turning his back on Commodus, who he knows has killed Marcus Aurelius. His wife and kid get crucified. How's the kid copping it with the horses, by the way? That's rough.
Yeah. That was brutal. Very brutal. Yeah. What he knows, though, like, 2 things and it's supposed to do this. Like, this is just a movie playing with me, and I know that it's doing it on purpose. But the fact that Marcus Aurelius didn't put it in writing or didn't tell anyone.
I know.
You know what I mean? Didn't tell Lucia, is that her name? Lucia? Didn't tell her at all. Because he had his chance, and he kind of did by saying your brother's going to need you now more than ever because of what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he could have told her, or he could have put it in writing and told the politicians or whatever, or anything like that. But on top of that, Maximus knows how Commodus is. Like he said, he lived with him for 2 years. Worked with each other for 2 years. So he knows the repercussions of what could happen if he like pisses him off or turns away or just does something. Doesn't save face at all. He literally is just the Russell Crowe of gladiators and goes, "Nah, mate, fuck you."
I think that's partly it's Marcus's fault as well, because he goes on about how he knows that Commodus is not a worthy leader and is a real sus unit, yet goes and has the conversation with him before anybody else.
Yeah, right.
I think maybe that was just to show just how trusting and warm and honest Marcus was, because he basically set himself up for it. I like how Russell Crowe is just straight up, like, as soon as he knows he's dead, and then he's Commodus say, "I'm now in charge," is just immediately. Oh, you killed him. Not like, oh, he died and he didn't get the chance to tell anybody our plan. He's like, oh, no, you straight up murdered him.
No, you killed him. I know you did. Yeah. Yeah, he doesn't say anything. He says nothing. He goes, "Our father is dead." He's like, yeah, I know who did it, dumbass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good.
I like it.
Whenever I put this on, I don't know why. If anyone says to me, "Do you like Gladiator?" or if Gladiator comes up in conversation, do you know the line that comes to my head? And it's not like,
"Are you not entertained?"
My name is Maximus. Are you not? It's not any of that. It's not husband to a murdered wife. It's not those ones. It's Oliver Reed and his gravelly, amazing voice saying, "You sold me queer giraffes." And I love it. It's so good.
Oliver Reed is outstanding
He
in
was
this movie.
Yeah, he's great, and it's really sad what happened to him during this film. Like that is just fucking sad.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, Oliver Reed died 2 weeks before this movie came out.
Yeah.
And didn't see any of it. But
And they had to do some CGI trickery for some stuff as well for him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't around
Body
to do
doubles.
it. Yeah. Which is a real bummer. Because do you know what's funny though? I knew that there was some CGI trickery for him. But I remember back in the day, I was like, "Well, they did a really good job because I can't tell where it is."
Yeah.
Whereas this time, I was like, straight, "Oh, there it is. Oh, that's terrible.
Oh wow.
Oh dear, that is 100% a CGI human being."
That is, yep. Oh, that was funny.
Yeah, he's great though. I like his character. I like his backstory. I like his performance. I like everything about him. He's great.
I love him. I love him. He's probably he's probably my favorite in this movie. Like the fact that he's just about wealth. He's like, just make me wealthy, you know.
Yeah, but in this strangely noble way where you're just like, oh yeah, no, I buy that because he's still got that drive and that push for the sport. Like it's
he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I really like him.
Yeah, like even his backstory with the wooden sword and how he was a gladiator and was freed and. That was it's just good writing. That's what that is.
It is. I think most of the characters in this are written very well, very clear as well. Like I like how there's, they're not muddy for any kind of unresolved reason. Like if characters are perhaps a little bit suspicious at first, it pays off. If where. I'd say Connie Nielsen's character is probably the only one that is not always 100% defined.
Which is kind of
But that's kind of the point because that's how Maximus feels about her as well. Like so we're kind of with him where the audience is with Maximus in our opinion of her.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of their pash, by the way.
No, me neither.
I thought that was really not called for.
I had this memory that she told him that the kid was his at some point. I've obviously made that up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you watch the extended version? Is it any extended version?
Oh, dear me. I actually...
Shit, I think it is, because I remember that as well.
I have the extended version. And I decided against watching it for this one because because it was in HD on Prime.
Yeah, right.
And so I picked up my extended version DVD and looked at the difference, and it was only 10, 12 minutes, and I was like, sometimes things are cut for a reason, so I thought I'd watch the Prime version. But maybe it's in the extended version.
Yeah, because I looked on, I watched, because on my cut, Ridley talks about the extended version, and he's very specific that, obviously because of how many copies of Blade Runner there is, the theatrical version is his director's cut. He wanted that known, that is his version. The extended version is only a couple of scenes that they've put back in, but I remember that, Tyson. I remember her saying that could be possibly your son or something of that nature.
Yeah, maybe it's not confirmed that it is, but it plays it plays a part somehow.
Yeah,
but I could have just made that up, or I could be confusing it for another Sword and Sandal movie.
Yeah, true.
But that'll be really interesting if it is the extended cut, because I've definitely watched it once, the extended version. But I've seen the theatrical one, 15 times. But I've watched that DVD once, so maybe that's where I got it from.
Okay. Do you know who's a fucking prick in this? And that's
his mate, his buddy,
General Quintus. Oh my God! How does he get off fucking lightly?
I know,
Dude.
because all he does at the no. Do you know why? I was actually feeling the same thing, and I was like, if you want us to like him even a little bit at the end, where he's like, no, sheathe your swords.
Yeah.
At least don't do the thing where he chucks Maximus's sword a couple of feet away from him.
Exactly.
Like, that's such a prick act.
Like, you don't get to be forgiven just because, like, you say sheathe the swords. Fuck off, dude. Come on. You could be playing it from the inside. You could be helping, doing something.
But even, like, I understand, like, at the start, when he basically says, oh, look, you've got to come with us, your wife and child are also going to be executed. Yeah. It's not, like, it's awful, but it's not understandable, because he's as far as he's concerned, Maximus is a deserter. And like, so he's following his orders. He thinks he's doing the right thing for Rome. But at the end, when it's clear that it's gone the other way, just give him his sword and be like, hey, kill this fucking piece of shit for me, would you?
Yeah, exactly. Good luck. Yeah. Come on. Even like you know what would have been good? What is the motto? Strength and honor? Is it strength and honor?
I think so, yes.
Something like that.
Oh,
Hand in the sword and say strength and honor.
Yeah.
And there we go. We're back on. Like, come on. It was such
That's really nice. I like that.
Like such a rat bag thing to do. That bloody arsehole, man.
I love that you use the word rat bag. By the way,
rat bag.
Such an Australian thing.
Because
he's such a rat bag.
Such a rat bag. Yeah, horrible. What was the other one that I had? I had something else I want to say. No. You go for a bit.
What was I going to say? So, I really liked the prison scene with the sister. Do I really like it or do I not like it? No, I think I didn't like it. I think that's why I wrote it.
With the sister? While he's chained up?
Yeah, so the movie, I think this movie starts the first maybe half an hour, 40 minutes, just unbeatable. So great. When it gets to Rome, where it starts to waver for me, and I start to find stuff that I'm less interested in, and I start to see some of the cracks. And that scene is one of them. It's when she visits him.
Yeah, I remember.
I find it's really interesting because it feels like I wouldn't be surprised, and I'm maybe just completely guessing out of the blue, but it feels like a scene they shot early.
Oh, sure.
Because it was just standing in a room doing dialogue, and so it's easy to get it done. Let's get it done.
Yeah,
because it doesn't feel like either of them have found their groove yet.
Yeah, that's kind of true. Because he's kind of all over the shop in that scene.
It's his worst scene of the film.
Yeah, he's either attacking her or he's kind of just having a conversation. Do you know what I mean? Where that's true because it doesn't feel like anything's on the line for him at that point.
No. And it's all really he's a completely different character than what he becomes. And I know, he does that whole thing where he's like, I'm not who I was. That person is dead or whatever, all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't feel genuine in that moment.
No.
And so and their back and forth feels really manufactured. And I was watching, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised. Maybe this was like day 2 of the shoot, and everyone's kind of getting to know each other and. He's not even sure what his accent's my character yet. Yeah,
exactly. Oh, you killed my wife. Oh shit! Maybe I would have done that scene a bit different.
Yeah.
Can I have a durry?
But that's what I mean about Rusty, because I think every now and then I think he is outstanding in this, and then other times I'm like, oh, that was strange. That was an odd choice.
Yeah, that was odd.
Do you know when he's the best in this movie, and it's a shame that he never gets better than this moment? The very first shot of him, where the camera just sits on him, and you see, he's looking out into the forest, and he's looking kind of concerned. He looks up into the sky, he smiles a little bit, then realizes what's about to happen, and the smile just disappears from his face, and he's ready to go. And I was like, oh my God, that is fantastic. Because in that, 10 seconds of without anything, he's shown us everything we need to know about that character. He's so driven by what he has to do and what's noble and what's right, but little things like a bird chirping can still bring a smile to his face.
That's true.
And I was like, man, that's really good. And he never got better than that.
Exactly. Do you know? There were so many scenes with Russell that I was like, didn't really need that scene, or that could have been a lot different. The scene where the battle starts. It's at the start. The battle starts. The arrows are flying. The catapults are going off. He doubles back to grab his other troops horsemen to come in from the rear, bring up the rear, and his speech is just thrown away. I
like his speech.
You like that?
Yeah, I think it's a good one.
It's thrown. No, it's thrown.
What we do in life
easy.
echoes in eternity.
Yeah, that was nice line, but it was at the end. No, it was a bit too. I don't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. I was like, no, I don't believe you.
No, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. I do like that he has time to have a laugh in that as well. And I'm like, and it's they show his ability to kind of endear himself to his troops really well, I think. Yeah. Because
he's one of the troops.
Yeah, it's not like one of those guys where it's like you go out and do that because you are forced to. He's basically saying, no, we're doing it for each other. And hey, man, if you're riding a horse down a field, don't freak out because that means you're dead, and that's pretty good for you, man.
And you'll be fine. Yeah,
you're
exactly.
Be great. I really love the bit where he's fighting and he goes to stab the dude and he sees that it's one of his own, and he just gets that blood-fueled smile on his face. And I'm like, ooh, you love this.
I did like that.
You
I did
love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Good. Was good.
So, I've got some funny stuff.
Oh, go on.
No, not really funny stuff. Nick, tell me, what do you think of... This is just a general conversation, and I always want to have it.
Yeah.
We may have had it before. But how do you feel about during emotional scenes when actors or actresses end up rather snotty?
I'm all for it.
You're all for it?
Yeah, I'm all for it. We have talked about this before.
We have?
We have, yeah. Very early in season 1 of Nick Tys.
Oh, way back.
Yeah, it would have... Oh, what was the movie? Anyway, it'll come to me. Yeah, we've talked about it before, and I'm all for it. If you're gonna commit, because life isn't pretty, and if you're gonna do a movie where you have just lost... Because I read up on what was meant to... What he had written. The writer had written that Maximus sheds a single tear and doesn't matter. Ridley and Russell went, yeah, nah, I'm going to make it snotty. They specifically said, make it snotty, Tys. And
right.
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. You're not for it,
I'm not for it at all.
Disgusting.
I'm 100% against it.
We have. I know, we have talked about this.
No, because the thing is, right, because I can't do it, right? So I'm watching any kind of scene, any kind of sadness in a scene, and if I see that, my instinct is always, no matter how sad it is, oh, that's gross. Can you just wipe your nose?
Just fucking blow your nose. That's
Please.
so fun.
Oh, no. Oh,
That's
no.
so
Oh, you can just get your sleeve up there, Rusty. Come on, man.
It probably... You want a man who has ridden for possibly fucking 4 days straight.
I don't care. I know it's more realistic, and I know it's probably it's probably really tough on the actors, and they're really feeling it, but...
There was dirt in there as well.
It was real nasty. But I can't help it, and do you know what? It takes me out, and I feel really bad, because I'm like, oh, well, now I'm out of it. Now I'm out of the scene.
It's so funny. No, man, I'm all for it. The snottier the better.
All right.
I remember I'm going to look on Nick Tys and find out what other
How in
crying
God's
snots
name are you going to find that?
I'll find it.
No, there's no way.
What's your other question?
All right, so what else have we got? What's the rules of the game with the cobra?
The rules of the game with the cobra.
To me, it's just try and pick up a thing before a cobra bites you. Is that the...
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
That's it?
Yeah, and if you are behind the cobra, you get points for striking it in the back of the head without getting hit.
You're meant to hit the cobra in the back of the head?
You hit the cobra in the back of the head, and you also get points, because that's going to redirect the cobra. Are they picking up little pieces of gold? Is that what they were picking up?
I thought maybe
the amount of gold... No, it looked like gold to me. Gold pieces. The more, the better.
Hey man, I'll take on a cobra for a little bit of that sweet gold.
Exactly, as if you wouldn't. So good. I remember what it was. It was, oh my god, was it Jerry Maguire? Jerry Maguire. There's a snotty scene.
Is there?
I think it's Jerry Maguire.
Is there?
I'm going to listen to the Jerry Maguire episode, which is episode number...
I'd say in the 40s, maybe.
40s? Oh, well done, Tyson. 41. I'm going to listen to that, because I'm pretty sure it's that.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, cool. I think hit the cobra in the back of the head and you get points, but also whoever collects the most gold without getting bitten by a cobra. Now, cobras scare them, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
they are terrifying. Like, I'm not scared of snakes, but fucking hell. Like anything that rears back, like a spider that kind of rears back like that, that is absolutely petrifying.
Can't hear it. Disgusting.
Oh my god! Like seriously.
So it's like it's a high stakes game because
it is.
Are they poisonous?
Yeah,
like very poisonous, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're up there.
I feel like it's probably a little bit too high stakes because yes, it's all fun and games until one of them gets you, and then you're like, oh shit, oh god, look at his arm. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh, that guy's dead. Hey guys, Bill's dead.
I'm gonna tell. I
don't think we should play the snake game anymore.
Exactly. Poisonous snakes with hollow fangs at the top of their mouth. Yeah, they're poisonous. I'm gonna tell you a small story now, which is totally off topic. I have to tell you.
Is it a snake
You don't
story?
want a story? It's a little snake story. You'll be
All right.
fine. You'll be fine.
Okay. Go for it.
My wife and I are in Thailand with friends of ours. We ended up going to this remote snake farm, which was not a farm. It was just a small pit with a couple of snakes in it. Very not kosher at all. We're walking through, and there's like a small auditorium where there's a snake show going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
We watched the snake show. The amount of audience people that are in there is probably about 6, including me and two of my friends and Sam.
Right.
So not a lot of people. The snake guy, midway through the show, picks up the cobra and kind of holds it so that it's not going to bite anyone, and says, "Does anyone want a photo?" Right? And he puts it around their neck, but holds it so that it won't bite anyone. Right?
Sure.
My friends get a photo. Sam gets a photo. He asks me, and I say no. An hour later, when we're holding a massive python that's not poisonous,
Yeah.
Sam goes, "Why do you want to take a photo with the cobra?" And I was like, "Where do you think the nearest hospital is from here?" And she's like, "Why the fuck did you I was like, "I'm not touching it."
I'm with you 100%, man. I would not be going
I was like,
near
"Where
that
do
thing.
you think?" And by the way, we don't have a car.
Yeah.
We caught a taxi here. She's like, "You are an asshole.
you're not
Are
in
you kidding me?
Melbourne.
I know.
Like, if that thing bites you and you die, they'll just take you out the back and bury you, and the show will go on.
Exactly. They're
Who are
like,
you gonna tell?
That's a shame. That guy's dead. What was his name? Who gives a shit?
They don't
Like,
care.
seriously, that's yeah. God, it was funny. And Sam lets me remind me of it all the time.
Hey, I've had a snake on me before, so I'm not, I'm okay with that. I did a wildlife thing where I had a giant python on my shoulders and everything, and it was fun.
Exactly.
It's a very cool feeling, like.
Yeah. It's it's not leather, but it almost is. It's so bizarre. But yeah, I don't mind a python. A python's lovely.
It's interesting,
But,
like the way their muscles move and stuff. They it was weird.
The one big muscle. Yeah. But yeah, cobras, poisonous, pass. Full pass.
Yeah, I'm with you there, man. So here's the thing. So cutting to the end.
Go on.
I actually appreciate how this movie sets up its finale and then just goes, nah, we're not actually going to do that. I find it really interesting that the whole movie is kind of set up and you're watching all the plan starting, and it's like, okay, we're going to do this.
Sure.
We're going to meet this guy, and he's going to say, okay, we're going to meet here, we're going to do this, and we've got horses for you.
Exactly.
And then it's just like, oh, nah, it's all good.
Nah.
We're actually just going to have a fight instead.
Your Irish man Flanagan died in the ass. And
he gets it hard.
Man, he cops a lot of arrows. So does Sven, actually.
I like Sven.
Olsen. How good is Sven? He's legit gladiator size.
He is a unit.
Stands next to Russell Crowe, and I'm pretty sure you could have just got him for the job.
Yeah, exactly.
As Maximus, it would have been way more cool.
Yeah, he's not having any trouble with any of these dudes.
No, it's fine. But he gets Sven gets 3 arrows front and back, and then gets stabbed a bunch of times.
Because it's like when you got to tranquilize a giant hippo, you got to put a fuck ton into him. Otherwise, he's not dropping.
Exactly. And then his friend, Irish dude, Chibs from Sons of Anarchy, he gets 4 in the chest and then hung.
They're very good shots. I'll give him this because they go from having no arrows in them to immediately having 5 or 6 in them.
All the arrows. Exactly. Boom. And they're all there. And I'm like, fucking hell, he's dead. He's not even saying anything. He's dead.
Yeah, he gets it. The one thing though, and this is,
go on.
I feel like everybody is badly planned at this. Like everybody is badly prepared. Like if you are the guy, right? If you are Tommy Flanagan, and you're sitting on that horse with a noose around your neck, knowing full well that as soon as Russell Crowe comes, you're dead.
Yep.
When Russell Crowe gives that signal, you don't answer. Surely,
no, clearly, right?
You don't go Maximus.
And then all of a sudden they'll hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
No, you don't say anything so that he goes something is wrong.
Something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
Yeah, you don't give, because obviously they had a little thing, and that maybe if he whistles, he's whistled back, or something like that, and that's an old school thing they've had since they were mates. He whistles, no response. Whistles again, still no response. You're walking away. You're going, something's happened.
You're going back. Fuck. Okay, cool. Abandoned ship.
Then we don't have movie.
I actually didn't think of that. I kind of like that the plan kind of just went to shit, and the movie was like, no, we're going to do this, and then they went, nah. I do really like that.
I actually think it's really interesting. The finale is completely different and comes almost organically out of nothing. Like, we as viewers have this idea of where the finale will go, and it's going to be this epic soldiers versus Roman soldiers battle in the middle of the Colosseum, and because it's a complete fucking cock-up, it ends up being something really different.
Exactly.
Something that I actually think, and I do like in Joaquin's face, because I think it's really dumb. I think he should know straight off the bat that he's no chance. But that's part of his character's kind of arrogance, that he puts himself in the Colosseum with him.
Yeah.
Even though, really, if he had half a brain and was even remotely humble, he would never have done that. No. But I love that when he's getting, like, knifed in the throat, the look on his face isn't like, oh, God, I'm dying. The look on his face is like, oh, no, I fucked this up.
Yeah.
No, I made the worst decision possible.
Exactly, which is so satisfying.
It is.
So
it
satisfying.
is. It's very satisfying.
Like, fucking die, you poisonous snake.
Where does he stab Maximus? I've always wondered. I can never quite tell because the shot's really quick.
He stabs him in the lung. It's under the armpit when he hugs him. Under the armpit. Yeah, which is because it's going to hide from the vest. So it's sort of in the side boob, basically.
And so what happened? So the death from that is that your lungs fill up slowly with blood or something.
Yeah, okay. Pretty much because he would have punched in a lung. He wouldn't have. He would have been spitting out a lot more blood. But yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. There was no blood spitting.
There was no blood spitting. The fights, the Colosseum fights, they're great.
Oh, we haven't really talked about it. They're fantastic.
No, especially the one with the tigers. Was that Sven as well? That wasn't Sven, was it?
No,
who was that guy?
No. It's funny. I thought it was Arnie's mate Sven, Sven Olsen, but it's not. It's a guy, and he's from something else. Oh God!
Because I'm looking down the list and I can't picture his name. What do they call him? Because it's not Tigris of Ghoul, because that's Sven. So what is that big dude? I don't remember.
He's from something else as well. Oh,
Giant Man. Here he is. Giant Man.
Oh, it is Sven. It's Sven also. It is Sven Olsen. I actually thought it wasn't him. It is him. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I didn't think he was that tall.
Oh, he's massive, man.
No, but they make him look short in other movies. Like, he looks like he's Arnie's size in other movies, and Arnie's not 6 foot.
How tall is Russell Crowe? How tall is Gladiator?
So they've obviously made him a lot taller than he actually is.
Yeah.
Because when he's in that, he's huge in that scene. Like, he's
massive.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's so funny because I saw his face and I thought, oh yeah, it's Sven, and then saw how tall he was and went, oh, maybe it's not Sven.
So who was the other guy? Who was the other guy I was talking about? So I never know how to pronounce this actor's name. Digimon? Digimon?
No, it's I think it's just Jimon. Jimon.
And who is his friend?
Yeah, so that's
Ralph. Is that Ralph? Yeah, it is. There he is. Ralph Moeller.
Yeah, he's from he's the same thing whenever you need a big dude.
A massive dude.
Yeah.
So he was clearly...
He's actually that size. Like, he's actually a massive unit.
Yeah, he is huge. He's so huge. Jesus Christ. Oh, I thought he was Sven.
Ah.
No. Yeah. No, he's not.
No.
Cool.
How interesting.
But yeah, that going back, that scene, that was great. Like, with the tigers and the fight, like, that was...
Yeah, look, it's the best stuff that Ridley Scott's doing in the movie, easily. Like,
exactly.
It's so exciting.
Yeah. Which is why, like, that's kind of the peak of the Colosseum fights, because you want the fight between Commodus and Maximus to be really amazing, especially with the fact that he stabbed him already. But because what I didn't like was the flashbacks. Not midway through the fight. I didn't like the fact that he could see the gate. He pushed open the gate.
Yeah, okay.
Fighting. I didn't like that. I was like, no.
I think they could have... I get what you're saying. I think they could have maybe represented it a little bit better so that it's like... Because what's happening, I think, is that he's dying and then he snaps back and goes, hang on, I'm not finished yet. And so maybe there was something... Maybe if that was represented somehow, like as in something kind of pulled him out of that, as opposed to it just being cut back to the scene or something. I don't know. Because I get what you're saying. I found it distracting, but I saw what they were trying to do and was like, yeah, maybe...
Yeah, I understand, but I wanted him to be in that. I wanted him to be...
Yeah, in that moment. Like, he's there. He's doing what he's meant to be doing, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually think they kind of shoot themselves in the foot a little bit by making Joaquin their main villain because he is no match physically. So that last fight has to be compromised by Russell Crowe being stabbed, where it's one of those things where it's like you almost want him to have to be at his absolute best, not just be conscious. Like, you know what I mean? He just has to stay conscious long enough.
Which is why that's what I wanted, like, from that scene. I wanted him to, because of the stabbing, be on a time limit, know that we all know that he is better than Cadamus. Is it Cadamus? Commodus. But also be fighting for his life at the same time. So I wanted it to be a little bit more tension-based, the fight, rather it be just it's kind of paint by numbers sort of fight sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like it was. I get what you're saying. There wasn't really a lot of tension there.
Yeah, well, I think that maybe they had to go more one way or the other and make it really about him, like literally on death's door. Like he's just a ghost of himself, and he just has that one last little bit of gets it done. Or he's like, it's top of his game. His villain's the best there is, and he needs to be the best. Whereas this is kind of somewhere in the middle.
Yeah.
But I think that's maybe if they had cast somebody like bloody, what's his name? Ralph, he's probably not a good enough actor, but if someone who is physically imposing as the main villain, we might have been able to have, but that's a bit 80s action movie kind of style. Though.
Or even, that's true. Or even have Commodus just cheat. Even though he already has cheated, make it worse. Make it so that he has another guy come in and fight him as well. He does us off with that guy, and then Commodus kind of comes in with a cheap shot.
Maybe save the Tigers for the end.
Exactly, makes him bleed more. Yeah,
I don't know, but then it does I feel like maybe the emotional impact of that is gone if we make it a bit more of a spectacular kind of, a spectacle is actually what I meant to say there. But I'm with you. I get where you're coming from. I don't not like it. I just also think of a different movie where the end fight is my favourite. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Because that's how I felt about a lot of 80s action movies. And I was always like, which movie has the best end fight? And that's how I was always kind of like, because you're watching this whole movie build up for the end fight.
Exactly.
And this movie, it doesn't really have that.
No.
How about
though.
Oh, it's great. What's with the bit at the end, right, where he's like, hey, free all the slave gladiators, right?
Yeah.
I'm fairly certain a vast majority of those dudes are not nice dudes. Am I right?
Isn't it? Hang on. Isn't it? Does he say free the gladiators, or does he say...
Free my men. But then they march all the gladiators out into the middle of the thing, and they're all there to watch it. And I'm like, are you freeing those guys? Because I'm pretty sure that dude was like a murderer.
Sure he's a rapist.
Yeah,
he's a rapist.
I saw him only 5 minutes ago doing some shady shit. That guy's got a cobra in his pocket. He's going to fuck shit up when he gets out of here.
Can't trust that asshole.
No.
Jesus Christ. No.
There's one guy at the back sitting there like, yes, let us go. Yes.
No, I thought that Release My Men was... Remember his men that were waiting for him with horses?
Okay, sure.
I think that was them. And the guys that have just come out have been like, oh, yeah, what's up? We wanted to see...
Hey, what's going on
we
up
wanted
here?
to see him die.
Oh, is he dead?
That's
oh,
a shame.
Shit. What happened?
Oh, fuck. It's a shame.
It's a real shame. He was a good dude.
That's a real fucking shame.
Some guys at the back's like, he owes me $20 in snake.
Oh, shit. That is
so.
gold.
But hang on. But how does Jimon Honsu though get to be free at the end of it?
Is he free?
Yeah, he's fucking off. He's got his civilian garb on, and he's in the road.
It's true. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I do know that scene that was meant to be Oliver Reed.
Ah.
That was meant to be Oliver Reed burying the statues.
Sure.
The small miniatures.
I think I like it better that it's Jimon, to be honest. I like it Oliver Reed dies.
I do. Yeah, I think I do too.
Even though they couldn't, you could see that because he goes to get the sword, the wooden sword.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you really do want him to have a good crack at it, though, don't you?
Send off. Yeah, because he was an ex-gladiator.
Yeah, so you want to see him do a little bit of damage on the way out. Maybe take one or two with him, and it's a shame that we have to see him die from behind because he was obviously...
He wasn't really there.
No, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
I actually like Jimon Honsu in this a lot as well. I think he's a really nice
good,
kind of just... He really doesn't get much of a story to tell, but he's just there as like this kind of the heart of it, and he keeps Maximus kind of grounded through it all. He kind of brings him back off the ledge, you know what I mean? He's a good character choice. And I do like that, even though it's a bit kind of tacky, I do like the not yet stuff. I like that stuff.
Yeah, I did like that as well. That was good. Yeah, there are some moments in this movie that not turn the cheese up, but are a little.
You can say that. I'd pay that.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. But I love those moments.
Yeah, me too. But that's where I think this movie is better viewed as a companion piece to like 50s, 60s.
Yeah, right. Ben
like epics, because I think that's the best stuff in it is the stuff where it is kind of cheesy and emotional, and it is a bit kind of like we're not holding anything back. We're really going for it. Because it feels like an old school tragic epic, and I love it. I love it for that reason.
Yeah, very, very Shakespearean, especially with the politicians kind of circling like vultures, with the fact that Commodus just is very, very infatuated with his sister, is putting it lightly.
He wants to get it on.
It's really, really unsettling. It's even more to his character. Like, it's so good. And like the gladiator, like the general who buries his family, becomes a slave, and then defies an empire. That's just very classic.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Storyline.
I love that the tagline for the movie is spoken in dialogue. I love it when that shit happens. That's one of my favorite things. Yeah. It's like, oh, that was on the poster.
Oh, that was on the poster. I did see that.
Who is it? It's Commodus, isn't it? A slave that... What was it? You said it before.
Defied. No. Shit. A general who became a slave that defied
an empire. And yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Ding, 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 ding. That's the tagline. Very good. The only other thing worth mentioning is that I really like the score, and I'm usually a bit harsh on Hans Zimmer, but I really like his work in this.
Well, this has been reused on so many trailers.
Yes,
this fucking score. Yeah, and it was nice hearing it for the first like in its originality.
For sure. It's funny. I really feel like he's stopped using melody as effectively as he did in this. Because you listen to this, you can hear... He basically lifted this and wrote the Pirates theme.
Yeah,
they're basically the same.
You can tell that now. Yeah.
And there's really very little to it. And then post this, he became really infatuated with like mood and landscape sounds and kind of, really long drawn out kind of stuff, and it's much less theme-based, and I really like my theme-based scores.
Me too.
But I think it's really effective in this.
Who would you... We should do an episode where... who do you think... What is the best theme to a movie?
The best theme is the Superman theme.
Oh, shit. Just straight off the bat like that.
Straight off the bat.
John Williams, the master.
Yeah, John Williams writes the best themes easily.
He really does.
But there's a couple of dark horses in there. I think the love theme to Braveheart is one of the best things ever written.
That's a love theme.
The main theme to Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Michael Kamen, is fucking outstanding.
I fucking jump at the bit at that Pirates theme. That makes me want to pick up a sword. I've never wanted to pick up a sword before. Like, when you hear that. When you hear that theme.
Yeah.
And, man, and dude, Back to the Future, dude.
Back to the Future's a good one. For sure.
God. Fuck.
We will have a proper episode about scores one day.
I think we should.
We should get some, like, experts in as well for that discussion. Like, we'll get some, like, legit, like, people.
Okay.
Anything else about Gladiator, Nick?
No.
I think we've covered that pretty well.
Yeah. No notes.
What was your... Oh, no notes.
Yeah,
I didn't write many,
notes.
to be honest. The only other thing I did want to mention is just that one dude that had, like, the spiky tips.
Yeah, wrong. You can clearly tell it was 2000s, and everyone was like, is he in shot?
I was about to say, is that the guy from, like, Sum 41?
Is he in Sum 41? Should he be there? Oh, he's not in shot. Oh, he's not in shot? Okay, don't worry about it.
He just rolled up and got some costume and went, fucking A. I'm going to be in a
That was
movie.
He literally gelled his hair.
Full gel.
Fucking idiot.
I loved
And there was
it.
another guy with a mohawk as well. I was like, oh, that didn't exist. That didn't exist.
Look, who knows? But I would hazard a guess and say probably not.
Probably not. Probably not.
So, Nicholas, what did you rate it in the end? Why don't you tell the people at home? We should end by rating, I think.
Oh, we're going to start? No, we're not going to start.
Well, we do it a lot anyway.
No, but otherwise, why are you going to not follow us on
actually,
Letterboxd?
maybe you've got to go to Letterboxd and find our rating.
You got to get Letterboxd. You want to find out our rating.
Who liked it more, do you reckon?
Give it away
Ladies
for
and gentlemen?
free.
Yeah, well,
Exactly.
you're right. What the fuck do you think
Give
we
it
are?
away. We give enough away for free.
So, Nick, we're going to do our
Tyson.
last segment of the day.
We are, which is...
Should we try singing this one and see if it's any better?
Here we go. Ready? And in 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's going to be horrible.
Yeah, so there must be a weird delay because I wait for you and then you stopped when I started.
It's because I'm watching you.
What about hearing,
And so when
though?
you start, I do. I wait for you, and you
Hang on.
wait too long.
I want to do something. This is an experiment.
Okay.
All right, I'm
Okay,
going
here
to
we-
click, and I want you to match that tempo.
Okay.
Oh, there's no delay. What the hell?
This is fucking riveting podcasting.
Yeah, I bet they're loving it sick. Loving it sick. So, Nick, for our Crossing the Stream segment, we thought we would recommend for you on streaming service some kind of sword and sandal epic.
I like it.
So, we're going to...
I have mine.
You have yours already. Well, you can talk to the people while I have a quick hunt around and find mine.
Or we can pause if you want.
No, you go for it, man. I reckon I'll get this pretty quick.
Okay, cool. I'm a bit... This is probably one of my first ever sword and sandals. And my dad watched this. This movie came out the year I was fucking born, believe it or not.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the original Clash of the Titans. This is the one with Harryhausen. For those of you who don't know who Harryhausen is, look him up. He was a very big deal, especially with Jason and the Argonauts. This is... Oh, I love this story. This is such it's old school epic of Perseus trying to rescue the damsel in distress by doing a mission which is cutting off the head of Medusa and defeating the Kraken, and it's got Pegasus in it and fucking scorpions and did I say Pegasus? I did.
I believe you did.
Amazing. But I love it. It's such a great movie. It moves slowly. You got to remember it was 1981, so just coming off the back of the 70s. And sword and sandal wise, this was like it was all on location. There was only one, or I don't know, maybe two sets that were in a studio, and you can tell that they were in a studio. The rest of them were literally like, I'm like, oh my god, I could actually go there. That looks amazing. But I'm a big fan of this movie. It's got everything from all of the gods play a really big part. So Zeus, who is played by, oh my god, Zeus is played by, I believe, Laurence Olivier. I could be wrong. Let me double check on that. Yeah, so you've got some really
heavy hitters, really
good players. Yeah, heavy hitters. And a lot of little great moments as well, because it's a lot of stop motion animation, which is what Harryhausen was known for.
Yeah.
So you're getting like the scene where he defeats Medusa is quite scary. You don't expect it to be scary, but it's quite scary.
I remember being absolutely terrified by that scene.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah. So it's just a great movie.
I must be honest. I haven't really done a lot of Harryhausen watching. Like I used to watch a lot when I was a kid, but
this is my only one.
I've got like a box set of his stuff, and I've just like a 5-pack or something that I remember I got on DVD once, and I should probably check some of it out because I fucking love it. Stop motion is the coolest.
Is the bomb. Yeah, so he did, for those of you playing at home, he did, obviously, Jason and the Argonauts. He did, what was the other one? The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. He did 2 Sinbads, I think there was in there. But it was a lot of, like, a lot of people remember him from the skeletons, like the stop-motion animation skeletons, and the Kraken from
Yes.
Clash of the Titans.
Yep. Sorry, I've forgotten. Which one did you recommend? Clash of the Titans or Jason and the Argonauts?
Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen Jason and the Argonauts. But yeah, you're getting, like, how good is this? You're getting Maggie Smith, who was, I think she was in her 20s at the time in this. You're getting Harry Hamlin, who I love. How good is Harry Hamlin? So good. You're getting Ursula Andress. You're getting Burgess Meredith.
Bond girl? She's a Bond girl.
She's a Bond girl, yep. You're getting Burgess Meredith, the guy who played the original
Mickey.
Penguin.
Mickey.
Yep. Mickey. You're getting Mickey. You're getting Pat Roach, like from Indiana Jones fame. You're getting so many in there, man.
You just don't
like,
get
it's
cast
so
like
good.
this anymore.
Exactly.
Old man yelling at clouds over here.
Yeah, so good, so good. But yeah, Clash of the Titans.
And where can you watch that, Nick?
Don't watch the remake. Watch this one.
No, don't watch the remake.
You unfortunately have to have a subscription to, is it QuickFlix? Is that what
QuickFlix?
QuickFlix.
What is this nonsense?
QuickFlix is an Australian service that you stream for.
It's an Australian rental service, I think.
It is.
Yeah.
No, they also have streaming. It's just, it's one that not a lot of people use.
Well, okay. There you go.
Other than that, you can just rent it for $5 everywhere else.
Oh, that's all right. Not too shabby.
Yeah. $5, man.
Very good. All right. Well,
Class, what do you got?
I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to recommend a TV series. Which is... excuse me.
We've done that before.
I think I've talked about this show before.
Okay.
But I'm specifically... Sorry, excuse me one second.
Okay.
I'm specifically going to mention the first season because I don't think it ever got better than the first season, and that is the show Spartacus Blood and Sand, which is available on Netflix. It's the series of Spartacus it had 4 seasons, I think, but the first season was kind of sadly the only season that starred Australian actor Andy Whitfield as Spartacus. And not long after completing filming of that first season, he was diagnosed with leukemia, I think, and passed away. And yeah, so there's actually a documentary about him, and he just seemed like the nicest dude, and it was a real shame. And he worked his, slogged away, kind of got his big break, and then had this terrible news. But the show itself is really, really great. It's got the main villain is. Where is he? You know him, John Hannah. John Hannah, is that his name? Why can't I find him?
I have no idea.
John Hannah. John Hannah, who is the brother from the Mummy. I know who that is. So he's the main bad guy, along with Lucy Lawless.
Oh, Xena.
Warrior Princess. Yeah, you've also got Peter Mensah, who is the guy that gets kicked into the pit at the start of 300. Amazing.
We are Sparta. Oh, I should have picked that. This made me want to... Watching Gladiator made me want to watch
Yeah, no, you're right.
Really, yeah.
You've got Manu Bennett, who played the White Orc in the Hobbit movies. I love all these weird kind of connections that I'm making. Yeah, and you've got Jai Courtney in his first thing he ever did before he became a massive superstar. So it is incredibly violent. It is way over the top. Like, it is just so gratuitous in every way. If you thought Game of Thrones was gratuitous, watch the first season of this, you'll lose your mind. But what ends up happening in amongst everything else, because I remember I started watching it because I was like, okay, I've heard it's pretty wild, let's see what it's like. And the first episode, you're like, holy shit, this is out of control. But then something happens around the halfway point where you're like, oh god, this is becoming an excellent show. And by the end of the first season, it has one of my all-time favorite season finales, which is it's only a 13-episode season, and I was floored by the season finale. It was so good. The last 2 or 3 episodes in a row are so fantastic. I recommend it thoroughly. If you feel like it, you can watch the other seasons. They replace the Spartacus actor, and it just never gets its groove back because they had to delay filming for a while, so they decided to make a prequel series. Which ran for 1 season, which was no good. And then by the time they got back to doing the series with the actual Spartacus character, we were they'd been a while, and it never found its groove again.
Damn.
But it's still very enjoyable, but nowhere near as enjoyable as that first season. So, I'm kind of interested to watch it again and see if maybe I was just I don't know, lose them on drugs or something. I don't know. Because I really like it. Maybe it's garbage, but
I like it.
We'll see how it goes. So that's Spartacus, Blood and Sand. It's just on Netflix. Check it out for free.
Cool. Check it out for free.
So, Nick, before we wrap it up, my man.
Yeah, man.
So we're doing this, our season of just all-round fucking great movies.
Yep, I like it.
What should we do next, Nicholas?
Good Lord, Tyson.
There was a certain movie we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now, the third installment of a particular series.
Da, 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 da.
I think maybe that's going to be our choice for next week. Should we lock it in?
Sounds good. Let's lock that in.
Next week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about the third and my favourite, Nick, your favourite?
And my favourite, yep.
Installment of
100%.
the Indiana Jones trilogy. Thank you very much.
Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
No, we are doing Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, of course.
Nice.
Sean Connery making another appearance on our show.
I love it. I'm getting so much Sean Connery
So much
right now.
Connery.
I've bonded up. I've League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. I just need to watch The Rock.
Yes.
And I'm in. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and Medicine Man.
Oh, God. What's something that I haven't seen with Sean Connery? And maybe... Because there's always stuff... You know how you're like...
The Presidio? Have you seen The Presidio?
No.
Have you seen Outland? I always wanted to watch Outland.
Is it just... What's the one... Is it Just Cause?
Oh, Just Cause. I've seen Just Cause.
Is he in that? He's in that, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Larry Fishburne.
Yeah.
What about Rising Sun? Is he in that with Wesley Snipes, or am I making that up?
No, he is in that.
Entrapment?
Hunt for Red October?
Oh, I love Hunt for Red October.
I haven't watched that in ages, man.
But anyway, none of those are the movies that we are doing.
We're not watching any of those.
We're going to do Indiana Jones.
We're going to watch Dragonheart.
I am the last one.
I am the last one. So good. No, we're going to do Indiana Jones.
We are. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. I can't wait for that. Nick, before we call it in for the night, just remind people where they can find our show, my man.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for Gladiator from the year 2000, believe it or not.
I know,
Lord.
right? God.
That was a while ago.
Hey, we didn't even mention it's the 20-year anniversary. 20-year anniversary of Gladiator.
Of Gladiator. How good is that? We are Nick Tys and Videotape. My name is Nicholas. This is my good friend Tyson. We do a movie podcast, and if you do like what you've listened to, please like, review, subscribe, all of those things, and do that on Apple Podcasts. We would love you.
We would
to
absolutely
do that
love it
on there. Other than that, if you would like to look at other things that we do, you can have a look on the socials that we're on, which is Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We also have a email account, which is nicktysonvideotape@gmail.com. So if you are locked in your home and we are your podcast of choice, for starters, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Other than that, if you've watched something recently and you're like, God damn, I'd like to know what Nick Tice think about this, write us in. Tyson will only take emails.
Look, to be quite honest, I think things being as they are, I will accept requests in any form at the moment.
On any form?
Any form.
Okay.
You can write them on our wall. You can send me a personal message. I don't care. As long as you listen to the episode and we provide you some joy, I'll take requests in any form.
We're all for it. Other than that, Tyson and myself do love the Letterboxd app, and we are on that. Tyson is at TYS_videotape, and my name is Nicholas. I am under Nick, NIC_videotape.
That's it. Follow, and maybe we'll follow you back.
Yeah,
Nick,
100%.
It's been a blast, my man.
Man, I will see you soon.
You will. Stay safe. Maybe next week.
Will do.
All right, man.
Maybe. Who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
Who knows indeed.
We may, lose the internet. I was thinking about this, Tyson. Do you know what's going to happen? If the internet goes down, not that it will, but if the internet goes down, Tyson and myself will become our own video stores. People will look to us for entertainment, and guess what? It's going to be $50 a rental. $50.
Hey, man. No. Times of compassion. We're bringing back 5 for $5. 5 weeklies for $5.
All right, 5 for $5. All right, fine. My TV shows you can have a go at. That's they're fine. Other things, it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you.
We're going to have to. Yeah, we'll have to expand the collection a little bit, but I reckon we'll do it.
Exactly. Okay. One toilet roll gets you quite a bit. That's awful.
Get you 2 new releases, my man.
2 new releases.
Oh God! All right, Nick.
All right, guys.
See you
next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.